the act of painting is a way of escaping, as well as the fact that I feel like the importance of them becoming environments and the importance of their scale, I mean, I like a lot of my works to be on the larger side, is so I can feel like I'm escaping into the works as well. Why was anime, for example, most of my life for about 6 years of being a teenager? Why would I rather sit and watch all these stories than go outside and hang out with my friends? What was the importance of that for me in that moment? One quality we all have is this need to belong. And if you've never had that in the first place, that ongoing search, which I feel like I felt a lot of growing up, and I still have now, although it doesn't bother me as much, is a shame within itself, just like it's a shame that we perceive very human emotions such as being sad, depressed, as things that we should push aside. That longing for Japan was created by feeling a displacement here, and that excitement to go there was created by years of watching and learning the language and anticipating the moment and then getting there, and the reality was just so different. It was almost shattering. I felt like my paintings envied that effect that Japanese animations or those dramas, or I envied it. I envied that indescribable feeling that I get from cinema, or that specific genre of cinema. There's something about drawing that makes you feel like you have to draw something. And I never thought to draw how I paint. I never gave drawing that same kind of freedom that I had given to painting. And so when the drawings had this kind of sense of liberation, the marks became translated into the painting themselves. But more than that, I understood how kind of taken I was by the process of painting, and I almost kind of envied the material as I was making it. I remembered that when I was in Japan and I realized that my impatience was something to embrace within how I make a painting, I also remembered recently when I was making the painting I Present Your Royal Highness, I was frustrated that my use of colour would lean always in the same direction. And I'm a very messy person, and I'd always struggled with choosing colours or deciding colours beforehand. And I had a palette in front of me, and I just squeezed all different colours on the in front of me, and I just put my brush in anywhere, mix it however, and go straight into the canvas. A way I'm trying to understand my use of colour now is more what works for me. If I'm a messy person, maybe I just need to throw myself in and mix on the canvas, and if anything, I'm forced to explore new ideas because I don't have a systematic way of working. So often I'm quite surprised by the failures, and I have to embrace the mistakes, and they lead me in a different direction completely. I don't like to decide anything beforehand, just like when I'm painting. I don't like to decide what the painting's going to be. So why would I decide the colours and pre-mix them as well? There's something about whilst making the paintings and not letting them dry and letting the material talk with itself or converse with itself, just an enjoyment of the fact that paint can really do its own thing. I like to call it orchestrating randomness now. The excitement to write in the middle of painting is just the same as the excitement to place the next mark on the canvas. They're almost the same. And I don't see the writings as descriptions of the works. They've almost become a way of visualizing the work through words, or just like I feel like I think through painting or I discuss things through painting, the writings are part of that discussion, even if they don't necessarily anchor down a conclusion to the work or a thought. When I see my work as a body, I feel like each work has its own personality and its own definition. But then at some point whilst making, I noticed that I would find elements that suggested a character, and by characters I mean reoccurring forms that suggested beings to me that were familiar to me but not necessarily familiar to others, which is why I call them figurative, or works that include figures, because when I see my work, I see these characters and I know no one else necessarily sees them, but that's quite interesting to me. But it was very frustrating at the same time, because I had to come to terms with the fact that sometimes the paintings decide where they want to go, whether you're ready for it or not, and the peer show became an opportunity to explore my idea of figuration, or the works that I see to be more figurative. Why do I keep suggesting these creatures or these characters, and what's their importance? And the peer show is kind of a way to understand their importance, to give them that centre stage.